Hallo Internet, Subtext unterwegs hier auf dem SBÄM-Fest Fall Edition im Schlachthof in Wels. Wir haben es uns hier Backstage gemütlich gemacht. Es hat heute schon einige Bands zu bestaunen gegeben und soeben ihr Set gespielt haben die Cancer Bats. Und einer von den Cancer Bats, nämlich der Bassist Jaye, sitzt jetzt bei mir, um ein bisschen über die letzten Jahre der Band und das aktuelle Album, das dieses Jahr erschienen ist, zu plaudern. Hey Jaye, thanks for taking the time for this interview.
No problem. We have a lot of time today. We played so long ago.
You're currently on tour with Silverstein and Anti-Flag.
Yeah, our old homies.
Shows. And today you're playing with a bunch of other bands at this festival. How do you like it so far?
It's awesome. As soon as we finished, SBÄM played, and I've been a SBÄM fan since I was like a teenager. So it was really cool to get to see those. I haven't seen them probably in like since the 90s. So it was pretty cool. They always seem to play like over here in like Austria and Germany. They seem to do really well. And they play over here a lot more than they seem to play like in North America.
Is it like a welcome thing on tour where when you sit together in a van and play with the same two bands every night, you see like 15 other bands on one night? It's like a welcome experience.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, we only just started this tour with Silverstein and Anti-Flag. Yesterday was the first show in Vienna, so we're not worn out on them yet. It's still pretty fresh. Yeah.
You've been rather quiet over the last, I think, 2.5 years. 2016 was the last time you played in Europe, and in 2018, earlier this year, you put out a new record, The Spark That Moves.
Yeah, we surprised you.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was coming.
You surprised the hell out of us.
We surprised the hell out of everybody. It was pretty great.
Can you tell us a little bit what was going on behind the scenes during the time?
Kind of behind in that time, our drummer Mike had a baby. So he and his wife had a baby. He didn't physically have the baby.
Sure.
So they had a kid, and he just was like really focused on like being at home, hanging out with his wife and his kid. Liam was doing a lot of like motorcycle trips. He has a clothing brand called Treadwell, so he was doing that. Scott was really getting into music production, our guitar player, and I've been building furniture. So everybody was kind of just like decompressing from a lot of touring a little bit, taking a break, being with their partners, sort of living their lives. But sort of in the background of all of that, we were all banking ideas, writing a lot of music, and kind of getting ready for whenever it was going to work that we could all get together again and rip a new record.
Was there like a moment when you guys said, okay, right now we have so many fresh ideas, we need to make this record right now?
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It was like, we should try and have a record out by, like, it was kind of in 2017, we were like, okay, we need to have a record out by early 2018. Let's just make it happen. Like literally just here's sort of giving yourself a timeline or like an end date to be like, this is when it has to happen. And then you're kind of working under the pressure that you've created for yourself. So yeah, we did that.
The release date of the album was really close to the 10-year anniversary of Hail Destroyer. So that was kind of point that a lot of fans were bringing up when the record came out. How do you think the two records compare? What has changed sound-wise in the last 10 years for you guys?
The funny thing is that a lot of people have seemed to come up like at shows or otherwise, and they've just been like, this, like the new one, they're just like, this is the best record you've done since Hail Destroyer. And I don't know if it's just because we sort of like, we're doing the 10-year anniversary shows and then putting out the new one like secretly under the guise of like the 10-year anniversary shows. So I don't know if it was people just being like, oh my God, you're playing the Hail Destroyer front to back. Holy shit, you have a new record. I don't know if it was that, but to me, those two are really comparable. I feel like we're still like, we're getting older, but like, if anything, we don't feel older. Like I still feel like I did when we were like 28 years old and we were like touring that album, or sorry, 27 years old. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, I think the energy is still there. Like, so we just really want it to be like, yeah, man, fuck it. We're not getting old and soft and like easing off. Like we just want to like press on the gas even harder.
Do you think a heavy band like you maybe needs some time away from music to, like you said, decompress, so you can enjoy it more when you're back at it again? back touring?
I don't think it's a bad thing. In no way do I think that that's like a bad thing to do for yourself to sort of like refocus or whatever. I mean, even in the meantime, Mike and I wrote a record with another musician, like an East Coast Canadian singer, songwriter, and we made a record with her and put that out and toured it a bunch around Canada. So it was like we were still writing music. We were always like still doing it, but not having the focus being only on like Cancer Bats music. So yeah, it totally helps. It's not entirely necessary, but it is a little necessary.
Another thing is new. After your last album, your contract with your record label expired. So you take things into your own hands. And how do you like that new kind of DIY approach? Is it something you enjoy doing, or is it something that takes away from just being a band, being creative, focusing on the music?
I mean, we've always, even with labels and management and everything like that before, we've always had our hands like on what's happening. So decisions were never really made unless we were happy about what was happening. We were always in control. But I think over the years, we've always been working towards like this ultimate idea. We look at bands like say Converge, for instance, or I think Clutch is a really good example as well. And those are bands that they look after their own business. They have their own label. They put their own records out. They don't let anyone else sort of like step in and influence it. And they have like a system. So we've always kind of been working towards that. And then you pick up tricks from people along the way. Like, you know, you have a record label that does this and this, and then you're like, but I think I can also probably just do that. So let's eliminate the middleman and we'll just fucking do it ourselves. So I'm really happy with the fact that we were able to do, like, it's a big success to me that it worked. The record came out the way it did and it surprised people. And I don't know if a lot of people would have, like, if it was on a label, would have really been into that idea. So I'm really glad that we're like in total control of everything that's happening.
Could you say that you're probably even more proud of that record because you really did every part yourself?
Absolutely. For me, I can completely agree with that. The fact that, you know, from the writing to the production to the artwork, everything that has happened was all filtered through all of the four of us. So, and it's not to take away from anything from people that have helped us in the past, but it's a really good feeling to just do everything yourself and be like, yeah, fuck, we fucking smashed this.
Sick. One last question before we gonna go and watch Friends of Romp.
Hell yeah, Friends of Romp.
Friends of Romp.
So stoked for Friends of Romp.
When are we gonna see a Bad Sabbath tour in Europe? Are we ever gonna see it?
I'd love to do it here because y'all are freaks for Black Sabbath, which is awesome. They're my favorite band, so I want to do it all the time. But, you know, Cancer Bats gets in the way, right? So hopefully soon. Hopefully someday we'll be able to come and we'll play a whole bunch of Black Sabbath songs.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Jay, thanks for taking the time.
It was really nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.